2025 has been an absolute spectacle. It's like every day there's a new canon event. These headlines had been absolutely ridiculous. We got people building killer animatronics, radioactive creatures, and plenty of other shenanigans. I'm not sure if we'll make it to 2026, so I feel like the only logical thing to do is make a tier list. Don't ask me how that helps. We're gonna rank all of these crazy events based on how insane they are, with S tier being the absolute worst to F tier, which is like, we're good. And yes, I am the 1,000-yard stare meme now. Feel free to use this image as you please. But let's get this thing started. Radioactive Wasp, okay, as if they couldn't get any more horrific. During an inspection at a nuclear waste facility, investigators found something very interesting. That, of course, would be several radioactive wasp nests 10 times the radiation levels allowed by federal regulation. After spraying down the nest to get rid of the wasp, strangely enough, they didn't find a single one. They were all gone. The wasp had to have gone somewhere, right? So this basically means they're out roaming free as we speak. I feel like it's a little strange that they found multiple nests, but not a single wasp. You mean to tell me they coincidentally all disappeared, or are they hiding stuff from us? Now, before we start making conspiracies, it's worth noting that scientists said they're not a significant threat to humans, or so they say. Apparently, the only way they can harm you is if you eat a bunch of them, so unless you're a psycho that enjoys eating wasps, I think we'll be good. But again, it is concerning that all the nests were empty, and who knows what kind of mutations they might get, and what if they can sting you and give you superpowers or something? I'll say it's like a C tier. We got the plague making a comeback next up on the list here. Yeah, you heard that right. The bubonic plague that wiped millions in the 14th century has been contracted by a California resident. This sounds very scary at first, but if you do some research, a couple people catch the plague every year, so it's not like it made a grand comeback or anything. There's antibiotics and treatments for it nowadays, and it still can be very fatal, just not as much as it was. So I'm gonna say this is B tier since it still does take lives. On the topic of disease, we got zombie squirrels up next. Throughout the US and Canada, there's been numerous sightings of these zombie squirrels with bleeding and lumps all over their body. Apparently the disease has been around since 2023 and it has no effect on humans, but that doesn't rule out the possibility of it mutating. For squirrels and other rodents, this would certainly be S tier. I can't imagine what they're going through, but for us, I'd say it's like a D. Again, it could mutate, there could be hordes of zombie squirrels emerging, but I like our chances against some squirrels, especially if we're immune to it. I do wonder though, how bad could this hypothetically get? Let's say all the zombie squirrels are spreading this around everywhere, it mutates and now it affects humans too. This could be the end of humanity. Apparently there's billions of squirrels in the world, which makes me a little bit more worried. Hopefully them squirrel doctors get to work or something. I'm sorry if you're a squirrel doctor and take offense to that. Anyway, switching gears a bit, we have the cult of Spawnism from Roblox, one of 2 Roblox related scenarios on this list. Yeah, this is a legitimate issue. I'm not even joking when I say this is a very serious topic. This Spawnism is a fictional cult from a game called Forsaken, which represents the symbol characters used to respawn after death. I'm honestly not even sure how this thing started, but it's gotten insanely massive, with thousands of people visiting games relating to it on a daily basis. People have been tricked and manipulated to do these harmful rituals and acts in real life. This is gonna be an S tier for me. This is just one of many ways the Roblox safety system has been an absolute failure. Speaking of which, we have the Schlep situation. I'm sure you've heard of the situation by now, but I'll give a brief rundown. There's a creator that goes by the name Schlep who catches and exposes PDFs on Roblox. His actions have resulted in the arrest of 6 people on the platform, and what does Roblox do? They ban him. That's right, after collecting evidence, sending it to Roblox, attempting to work with them on numerous occasions, they say his actions are just like the PDFs. They stood 10 toes down against the vigilantes, saying taking the law into your hands isn't safe in the real world and it's not safe online. That's why we work together with law enforcement to hold bad actors accountable. Kind of funny how they say this in response to one of the few guys doing it as responsibly as they can, but we're putting this right next to the Spawnism. We're talking about one of the biggest games on the planet that millions of kids play that are in constant danger because of how poorly it's managed. They gotta make some changes. Moving along from Pokemon though, we have scientists discovering a real-life Kyogre. According to scientists, the fossil of an ancient species of whale was just uncovered. They described it as some kind of weird mashup between a whale, seal, and Pokemon. As you can tell, the headline was a bit of a stretch, but I have to say, this thing actually does look like Kyogre. It's a striking resemblance. And if there was Kyogres, that must mean there's Groudons, which also means there's Rayquazas to settle the beef. So either way, I'm gonna put this in the bottom tier. This can mean one of 2 things. We're just learning more about an extinct animal, or Rayquaza already settled Groudon and Kyogre's beef. I think we'll be fine regardless unless they find the primal orbs. There's also the possibility of Team Magma and Team Aqua forming, but I feel like we've already had that. They just call themselves Republicans and Democrats. I feel like there's definitely worse Pokemon we could find in real life too. Something like Mewtwo or Giratina would definitely be detrimental. They would just destroy us. At least Kyogre would use the elements to, you know, put us out of our misery misery in a way that would seem natural. Anyways, we have some more real-life Pokemon with laser-shooting peacocks. Researchers have recently discovered that peacock feathers can emit 2 distinct frequencies of laser light from multiple regions across their colored eye spots. I just said a lot of big words, but what this basically means is that if you shine peacock feathers a certain way, it could hypothetically shoot lasers. As crazy as this is, the world is entirely unchanged. This is really just a fun fact. The peacocks can't shoot the lasers themselves. What if they could though? Theoretically, how much damage is a bunch of laser shooting peacocks causing? How powerful would the lasers be? After looking it up, there really isn't that many peacocks left in the world, so I think humanity would have it on their hands. I'm gonna say this is another F tier. Let's just be glad the crazy birds don't have lasers. You give that to a goose and humanity might be done for. We're on a roll with these animals because we're talking about some radioactive shrimp next. Yeah, apparently there was a recall of potentially radioactive shrimp sold at Walmart. Remember how they said the wasps are only harmful if you eat them? Well, now we have a radioactive edible creature. There's more than 26,000 packages of this shrimp for sale. Imagine making yourself a seafood boil and you turn into the thing. Even though it's just frozen edible shrimp, I'm still gonna put them in B tier above the wasp and C tier. To my awareness, I don't think there's live shrimp out there swimming around with radiation, but who knows? The frozen shrimp had to come from somewhere. I mean, at least it's frozen shrimp and not something more common like chicken nuggets, because then I think we'd all be cooked after eating some dinos. I actually had some bad experiences with frozen shrimp before. It's a little nasty, I'm not gonna lie. But if any frozen shrimp brands want to sponsor me, I'll easily take that statement. Why am I catering to frozen shrimp brands right now? Do I even have an audience for that? Y'all gonna let me know if you like frozen shrimp. If I did like a frozen shrimp ad or something, would y'all mess with it? Enough shrimp. I'm sure y'all have been waiting for this one. Next up, we have Nosey the rabbit. A man named Citra has recently been going viral for constructing an animatronic that's supposed to be 10 feet tall and run 32 miles per hour. This thing's being built like the Terminator. Apparently, it's gonna be fireproof, waterproof, bulletproof, sprint, crouch, window watch, and probably do everything else imaginable. The guy building it doesn't even know if it's gonna be friendly. It's gonna have free will. He says it's gonna be powered by a soul. He's even inspiring other people to start making these killer robots. He started a wave of monstrosities. No one even knows his motive. It's like he's just doing this for the love of the game, and for that, I'm putting this in A tier. There's a lot of talk on whether this is physically possible, but he's posting updates along the way and even showing his progress, so I'm getting worried by the day. And if he can't do it, what if he inspires someone that can? Imagine a rich billionaire pays a bunch of bucks to engineers to make this actually happen. Which gets me thinking, y'all think there's any billionaires out there that are Five Nights at Freddy's fans? I would love to see what this individual would look like. If you ask me, I just want to see some real steel matchups. Forget the killer animatronics, send them at each other. Anyways, we have some more animatronics up next, and when I say animatronics, I really mean Terminators, and when I say Terminators, I literally mean Terminators. I came across this account on TikTok that looks like some kind of Terminator factory. One of them literally has a turret for an arm. Like, forget Nosey, I'm worried about these guys. This is an actual threat. Can someone send the FBI? This is also going to A tier for me. They're probably just props, but at the same time, those weapons look a little too real for my liking. I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite when I say this, but this place is probably on my top 10 places I'd like to visit. This looks really cool despite how terrifying it is. Real life Iron Man. Yeah, someone's building a real life Iron Man suit. After constantly being tagged in different kinds of killer animatronics, I came across a creator called Robbie Does Things, who yes is building Iron Man. The arm and mask he built looks fully functional. I actually have some hope in humanity now after seeing this. Maybe he can save us. Let's just throw this in C tier. Robbie seems like a really cool guy, and I'm not worried about him building an Iron Man suit at all. I'm just worried about it ending up in the wrong hands. We've seen what these animatronic blueprints have. We're really gonna need Robbie to carry us to 2026, because next we have alien spaceship sightings. I don't really have any backstory on this one. Apparently this is a real image of a spaceship in the sky. Could very well be fake. We see alien spaceship videos all the time. For all we know, this could be a government vehicle or somebody's drone. I'm gonna throw this in D tier, because you never know. We have some more aliens on the list up next, and apparently this one Harvard is warning us about. Scientists have noted there's a giant mysterious space object the size of Manhattan hurtling towards Earth that's gonna arrive in November. I don't know much else about this. The information hasn't been peer reviewed yet, and a lot of people are saying it's just a comet or something. But seeing how the way this year is going, I wouldn't be surprised if Gleeglorp is pulling up next month. I'm gonna put this in B tier. Could be a friendly alien too, and who knows, maybe they'll help us against Nosey, or Nosey will just drive them away from the planet. This might be a script to some kind of a crazy movie, because Citra did say nothing of this planet could beat Nosey. People also made a danger zone for him that's like 80% of the planet. I'll take all the help we can get. Finally, for our last entry, we have Volcano Sharks, yet another Pokemon. This might be where Groudon is, because scientists just discovered over 200 sharks swimming in an underwater volcano. This could actually be very detrimental, not the sharks, but the volcanoes themselves. If they erupt, the marine ecosystem will suffer. I'm no marine biologist, but even I know that's a big no-no, and it's honestly one of the actual threats on this list. So to round this out, we're putting Volcano Sharks in S tier, mostly because Groudon might be there too. So there we have it, folks, the 2025 tier list. So many different ways we might be cooked and so little time left in the year. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of this is a hunk of baloney. Do not let anything here genuinely terrify you, aside from like Roblox and the Nosey stuff, but everything else, you should be fine. Don't think these are lies either though. Everything here is based on something that has actually happened, so it's just a matter of time until we find out if we're actually cooked or not. But don't worry guys, if push comes to shove, I might have to do some